Looks like we're good, and welcome back, Daniel.
Thank you. It's good to be back. Hello.
Rolling. Why did I say welcome back? Oh, because we almost thought we
I
were
was
gonna.
off.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
I mean,
there's.
I was on vacation last week, and I
Mm,
was out of touch with everybody. I wasn't really doing a lot of communication. Just spending time enjoying my nation's capital and enjoying the history of it, and really taking time. I've been to Washington D.C. Several times, but this time
mm,
was just to be a tourist. So being able to see a lot of the history and take in a lot of the moments that were happening around the July 4th holiday, which is our Independence Day celebration. That, yes, welcome back, because yes, I'm back now. Unfortunately,
mm.
I kind of need a vacation from my vacation, but really had a good time.
Oh, that's
Like I said,
cool.
enjoying the history of being there during that during the celebration time. So it's
Good
good.
stuff. It is.
Yeah.
It is good to actually have some time to explore a place you've been to frequently for
Yeah.
business. But
Yeah.
you know, this is the thing. Like business trips, it's not about like extravagant. Oh, look at this! Oh, it's awesome.
Right.
Some people manage to find a bit of time, but
Wait,
yeah, I know
I
what you mean.
usually try to get one thing in.
Yeah.
One time I was there for SharePoint Fest, and we went to the Lincoln Memorial and the monument, and took a picture of everybody. So that was really cool to take a picture at the monument and stuff like that. But
Mm,
it is really cool to be able to experience a lot of things. Like I went to Ford's Theater where Lincoln was shot,
yeah.
stuff like that. Just to be able to, kind of enjoy
Yeah,
someone's
I
getting
get it though.
shot. Wait a minute.
It's a no, it's
Anyway,
appreciating
but
your
yes, it
your
is. It
history,
is.
the forming of a nation. You know, it's good
Yeah.
when countries can get together and enjoy and celebrate being a nation. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was another busy week in the message
Mm,
center.
it
Definitely
was.
busy. Just flicking over to a quick screen view of the messages. Like there is one major update, so we'll just tuck that away. But that's
Hmm.
around Outlook, and you can see. Look, there seems to be this pattern now where stuff has been released on a Saturday. In US time, therefore Sunday my time. I'm like, I look there
Yeah.
this morning. I'm like, whoa, where do these come from?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fun stuff.
we're playing with a bit of a new scene too, so as we get into these messages, we wanted to bring a bit more focus to just the message. So check this out. First of all, this message. We'll just bring this in here. There we go. Tell us if you like the scene too. It's cool. But this one I thought was interesting. It popped up, and it was like, was it last week or the week before, where
Yes.
something was released, and it was old. It was old. This one is
Yeah.
old.
Really old.
Yeah.
This is from September of last year, apparently, talking about Staff Hub being retired.
Yep. Yep. Feels like
Yeah.
it was something that was announced at Ignite. In
Mm.
fact, it does read that way too. So we know this.
Hmm.
We just thought we'd draw our attention to it to say that sometimes things are not quite on their game. But some
And
good news later
it's
on.
odd. I mean, Daryl, isn't it that this is a new thing that's been happening? We've never seen this before until the last month or so, right? Of
Mm,
items sneaking in. It's really weird that it started happening, because it hasn't for the past, I don't know, 80 episodes
yeah.
of
Well,
the Message
this
Center
one it
show.
looks like an old one. The other
Yep.
two that we saw that came were felt like they were post dated. To
Hmm.
try and just get that news out because it was going to be released the very next week.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll move on because there's not much
Yes.
to say about that.
That's right.
It's old news, quite literally. In fact, it's in action. um, Activity highlights on the file hover card, which I think I really like hover cards in general for people for finding out details to dig in and get a bit deeper. And it's really cool to see this one getting richer. That as you hover over it, you're going to see more activity in terms of what people have interacted with the file.
Hmm.
Um, there's a couple of things there too. I like the at mention. Did you see
Yeah.
that? Like what happens there?
Yeah, I did, and I think that this is really being able to see what's going on and being it's like an enrichment into the experience and being a part of what's going on with your files. And I'm just really liking this to not have to. We've had to do this for so long to dive into the document properties to find stuff out. Who
Mm,
last edited this? Or who has access to this? Who, whatever. All of these details, you'd have to go to different screens to see it. And I'm really liking these hover cards, like you said, but then bringing in comments and bringing in at mentions. And then, this whole consider sharing it with these other people who you frequently work with. That's interesting. I'd like to see that in action to see if that is, does a really good job of suggesting who you should share with. But I'm really liking this hover card experience
mm.
that they keep enhancing, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like you, I've wondered what kind of connections and graph bits and pieces they're using to make the suggestion that, hey, this
Yeah.
person might be interested in it. You see also too, we haven't seen this land yet, I don't think, but the inside look, which
Mhm.
is, that was talked about a few weeks back. So it's all
Mhm.
that richer story that at
Yes.
a quick glance I can see, look, how many people have viewed it. So yes,
Mhm.
people are actually engaging with this document.
Yes.
They get a little hint as to how long it's going to take them to read it and maybe
Mhm.
some key text.
Mhm.
But then the activity highlights, um, possibly share it with them. Look, this other one that I think the at mention itself, if you've
Right.
been at mentioned in it, it's going to highlight that to you, and then it provides a link to jump you directly to that place
Yes.
in the document. Wow, very quick, very cool.
Yes. Very slick so that you don't have to open it and scroll and scroll and scroll. You can just get to it, get the job done and move on.
Mm,
I think that's, I don't know if that's an official mantra, but it seems like that's what the Office team are driving to when
yeah,
they are coming up with the features and trying to enable you to get the job done. So it's get it done and move on. Don't spend time doing all these things when we could make it easier. So I'm
yeah,
really loving this. Yeah. So,
definitely.
Darrell,
Mm,
this next message, I would
there it
like
is.
for you to give some of your thoughts on this 360-degree image viewer in SharePoint and OneDrive. I think it's a great place for it to be, right? SharePoint and OneDrive. Um, and I know that we do this show via video. We didn't do it audio first because we both feel more comfortable doing video and think that's where things are going. And I think for images, this
Mm-hmm.
static image is not really where and I know you think this. I don't think this is a static image of what we have been using for the last few decades. Is where the future is. It's in these immersive kind of images and videos where
Mm.
you can see what was going on, not just in front of the photographer, but what was going on, in the surrounding area. What are your thoughts about, having this new image viewer available to us?
Yeah, look, for me, it's all part of that SharePoint Spaces story.
Hmm.
That up until now, if you wanted to store and share 360 content, it's going to be sitting in consumer land, or I
Hmm.
know that it's supported within the Google environment, so potentially it's also there for Google Apps. Um,
Hmm.
but the reason that we use 360, and you're keeping it brief, but it is about giving that full picture. Super useful for a business in the sense that if you need to capture different points on, let's say, a building site or somewhere where you want to be able to go back over and say, well, what was that over there, and was that structure right, and did we check over there? You've got so much more context to that.
Hmm.
Though this is a first start into bringing that into a place where the rest of your team, the rest of your organization can benefit from.
Hmm.
And I see lots of potential for creating virtual tours and
Hmm.
bringing more information in about the environment and the the scenarios that people work and face. So people
Hmm.
can, they don't have to drop the goggles on and have a look that way, but
Right.
yeah. Now, I will say though, like this message, a bit like another one we had recently, feels like it was written by one of the engineers. It sort of
Yeah.
peters off into this, you can drop the content in there, and it's going to be, for those of us who work with this stuff, equirectangular. Think of it as it's this
Right.
360 stuff, but it's been flattened out, and it is in a large rectangle. So that's
Yes.
how the file appears in SharePoint and OneDrive, but then it uses a viewer to wrap it around
Hmm.
and make it manipulative.
So
This stuff about add360.jp or JPEG, what? Okay.
right. I saw an article someone had posted on LinkedIn about how a school of business had done a program where they had gone in and looked at um, displays in a retail store
Hmm.
and had done an analysis of sales and their displays and made suggestions to change things around to help them better sell their product, better position their product. And I
Yeah.
think, you talked about building. Well, this in retail, I think would be great as well.
Yep.
You set it up, you can set up and I know we have clients that retail and food, and so you can set up your mock kitchen, your mock showroom, your model, not, your model showroom, and do this, right? And then publish it and say, here's the showroom of the future. Or
Mm.
have your different models of, so I, as a store manager, can go, what is it I'm going to do next month? I can go in there and see, just get a tour real quick of this is how we're going to set things up, stuff like
Yep.
that. I think there's great potential here. I will be remiss to not mention that outside of the title, but in the body, the only mention of SharePoint is misspelled. I just wanted to point that out that maybe we should get our own product names right. It is a capital P, my friends, capital
Yeah.
P in SharePoint.
Yeah. Yeah, and we are a brutal audience. We definitely, when we see that, we're like, Come on now, that that does not show a lot of what would you say, proof to say that you're in this industry. Anyway,
But I would imagine this is the SharePoint and OneDrive team who are putting this out. So anyway, let's move on
yeah,
before I,
let's move on.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Bulk approvals in SharePoint
Mm,
Online, and this, I mean, in the modern space, particular, but
yep.
actually, has this been thing that has been missing from SharePoint Online in general, or is it just a modernization?
Yeah, the issue is with the way we do approvals now, to be able to bring in that because approvals are done with flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is bringing that both to modern and classic UX, the experience to be able to select and say approve. And this is kind of in that mantra of get stuff done and move on, right?
Yeah.
Because we used to have to edit each file individually or go into datasheet view if you wanted to, edit things on multiple. Now we're able to do that, select them, and then do edits with metadata. This is just really metadata-ish, right, with a little extra. Select them and do approvals.
Mm.
So I think, and remember, this is not some complex approval kind of stuff going on. It's just saying I approve of these things, and I think this is the first good step. This is not like a first step in what needs to be many. This is a good step, but I think there's some more stuff that's coming,
Mm-hmm.
that could come along with this that would really have some major impact on the work flow. I don't mean workflow. I mean the flow of work. And so I think this is a great thing,
Mm.
for us to just, like I said, get stuff done and move on, not
Yeah.
have to check it and say approve and check it and do all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feature update. Now, I have to
Mm,
say, as I read that one partway through the week, I was looking forward to seeing what have they come up with. The message center itself, and of course we're interested in it because we're
yes.
working in it, we're presenting in it, we've been using the the preview version of it and showing it to you guys. Yeah, the thing here is that they are looking at how can we improve the way the readability. They're bringing more stuff in, the more content, different categories. Right. So you'll be able to opt into yet another preview, or just leave that switch on if that's what it is. Right. We'll be removing the major update carousel. I'm glad about that. It's a bit boxy.
It is, and it takes up a lot of room. I mean, look at it right now. I mean, it's taken up way more room, even in the messages themselves, than it really needs to. Yeah. Right. So I just I like the idea. I like the idea of, well, we're doing this so that we make sure people understand what, that there's a major update, but we already have indications of major updates. And so in the list itself. So anyway, removing the major updates, I think, is a good thing. And giving us the ability to, tabulize, is that how we say it? Doing the tabs at the top.
Yeah. I guess so. If I knew I could.
I think it's going to be interesting.
I wish that if I could click that on the image and it would blow up a bit.
Make it big.
You can see the tabs listed there: all messages, high importance, unread, and dismissed messages.
Well, if you can actually, I just did a copy image address or open image in new tab, and it makes it really big. What I hope, though, in this UI, when I'm looking at it, it looks as if I can miss that those are tabs, because it doesn't really look like tabs to me. It looks like words. I don't know. It just doesn't look like tabs. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it.
Yeah. They're not tabs. They're like, click on that and it changes the filter.
Right. Yeah.
But looking at the rest of it too, it means that we've got more real estate for the messages. There's this choose column thing over here. We'll just push ourselves over to the other side of the screen. What does that mean? That like there's other columns that we can choose information that we can display?
Yeah. So maybe this is personalizing what columns. Yeah. That's interesting.
Might have a bit more control over the filter then if we choose additional columns.
Wouldn't it be great to add our own tabs up there?
Yeah, that would be interesting. Or at least, if it's based on your role, you could sort of highlight that's the messages for your role, even though, that's the only ones you're going to see. But,
right.
Yeah. That's a good one to keep an eye out. Oh, there's all our additional messages or columns that we can turn on.
Right.
Wow, it's quite a bit.
It is.
So this is going to be released early July, coming out to targeted release, so it should be landing shortly, maybe even by the next episode.
Well, maybe. It's a long rollout, though, isn't it? Didn't it say... Yeah,
completed worldwide
end of September.
Yeah. So if you read that, usually we're used to seeing we're rolling it out to targeted and then we're rolling it out to the rest of the audience. It's mashed together there, so we're not sure if that means targeted release will be ended by September.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It says worldwide. I would think that's everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
So keep an eye out for that. Now here's our major update. Outlook on the web, new experiences to roll out, and there was a blog post that also introduced some more discussion and features around this. If you've been using the Outlook new experience up until now because you've turned on that preview switch, that's what you're going to get. It's going to be turned on, it's live for everyone, but they do have some new things to introduce as part of this rollout too. So if you have a number of people using Outlook on the web, or as everyone else knows, Outlook Web Access, you are going to need to adjust your support documentation and let people know that the change is going to be significant, I would say, but definitely an improvement. We know that there's some changes around tasks and people, and I think let's see if the additional information opens up to the blog post. I half expect it does.
Yes.
Maybe?
It does.
Yep, still loading. What I do know is, and
Loading.
I saw a few reactions like this throughout the week. When you scroll on further down, you get great, yeah, email, and we got all these different ways of doing labels and categories, and there's dark mode, and oh,
Yeah.
what the heck is this?
Yeah.
Expressions.
Expressions.
I heard
Yes.
heard a few Exchange IT pros express their distaste for what, really, GIFs and emojis and stuff
Yep.
and Outlook on the web. Oh my
Yep.
goodness.
And and this is one of those, we'll see if it lasts,
Mm,
right? Will it last? Will this be something that will um, stay the test of time, or will it be removed? I don't know. But again, the word that I know everyone who tunes into the show wants me to say, and that's consistency.
oh, is it?
So,
Okay.
yes.
I
Does
need to have
that
a little button
mean
on my panel here that it flashes
goes
up. Beep, beep, beep. Consistency.
has
Anyway,
has like
I'll work on that.
a border around the screen that like
Yeah.
blinks, and anyway, is if you bring it to me Outlook on the web, okay, fine, but it needs to come to Outlook client
Mm-hmm.
for Windows, and so and the same thing for mobile. If it needs to be on all three for me, and so it'll be interesting if that happens. For I've been using the Outlook for the web quite a bit. I like it. There's
Definitely.
there's a few things that I really like about it over the desktop client.
Mm.
Um, but there's some things I don't. But that's kind of
Well,
personal preference.
this
I mean,
reignited
do you like
that
it?
discussion too. I do. I like it a lot. I find it a lot slicker and quicker, and search is better, and all sorts of stuff.
Mhm.
What it did reignite was, hey, we've got likes in Outlook on the web, but still hasn't arrived in Outlook on the desktop.
Yeah.
So do we expect to see this same division between the two? Anyway, I mean that's one thing that's arrived. Like there's a lot of other stuff that's been released to
Hmm.
improve way of displaying favorites. So get stuck in there and have a look.
Yeah.
The time management and new use of tasks, which is of course using Microsoft to do. So
Right.
yeah, lots of good stuff there. That's why it's a major update. And Nick, this is one of those ones where I'd say
It
absolutely
deserves it.
it's worth being called a major update. Sometimes
I
it
agree.
feels like it's a marketing spiel.
What?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Keep your Federation Trust up to date.
This one.
Yeah?
Okay, listen.
Is this why you wore your orange cap? Because it's
Yes,
just the right tone.
I just don't understand. Like, was this something that was done out of necessity? It had to, maybe something was wrong, and so they had to change the certificate, or is this something that's been in planning? Or was it, oh, whoops, we forgot. We need to change this right now. Because this was released on July 4th, which again, remember, that's a federal holiday here in the States.
Yeah.
Um, and saying on July 5th, we're making a certificate change and all your stuff isn't going to work unless you update.
Yeah. Well, Federation Gateway,
For Federation Gateway. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying
definitely calling
everything.
it out for it
But
could
yeah.
affect Exchange,
Yep.
or will affect Exchange. Generally, if you just glance over this, Microsoft Federation Gateway, you
Mhm.
could be forgiven for thinking, is it like for Active Directory Federation? Is it for other kind of federation?
Yep.
Those in the know, of course, will pick it out. But yeah, Exchange Federation. Your point is, why are you telling us
A
on
day before. On a
or the day before?
on one of the biggest federal holidays
Yeah,
in the country. I mean, this is
yeah.
big, and many people take the day after because it is July 4th was a Thursday, so a lot of people took Friday off as well. I mean, it's a big holiday
Mm.
time frame because it's really easy to take an extra day and take a really long weekend. So it just this timing is just amazing.
If you're in
Yeah,
hybrid mode, or you are
yeah.
sharing FreeBusy information between two different on-premises organizations,
Hmm.
and Microsoft Federation Gateway is a trust broker,
Yep.
You need to take action. You need to take action.
Yeah, this is not a you should.
This should
It
be a
won't
major
work.
update too.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and it's interesting because there's an update, because at first it says, well, if you're using Exchange 2013 SP1 or later, which I would assume a lot of people are
Yeah.
using that, then no action is required. Update, actually, even if you're using Exchange 2013, but you're using it on Windows Server 2008, which you shouldn't be doing, by the way, but if you are, then it won't work. And so you need to take action. I mean, I don't know. It just feels like this one was, oops, we forgot to tell everybody something. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
And then here's a frequently complained question or statement. So we better drop in an update.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We've gotten so many calls about this where, hey, you said it would work on 2013 SP1, or they called in and said it's not working. Well, you need to be using 2013 SP1. I am. Oh, oops. Then what is it? Anyway.
Yeah. So sorry. Well, look, we will do our show at the usual day that we do, and we talk about these things to bring awareness. But there was definitely no time to bring awareness for this one. So that's a blue on Microsoft's part. Sadly, could have done a better job.
Could have.
The Teams Atlas mention, which Atlas at mentionless. This is just when you go to type someone's name, and instead of putting in an at mention to say, I really do want to at mention Daniel in this message to get his attention and loop him into the conversation, as I type the name Daniel, I'm going to get a pop-up of suggested people.
Which, if if you're using other apps, like social media apps, they all do this.
Yep.
If you're on Facebook and you're typing someone's name, it auto recognizes that this is a name and starts suggesting people. So this is cool. So it's a keystroke we don't have to do. I guess it's 2 since it's shift at, but I like this bringing in because it's what people are doing now. They don't really want to mention someone. What'll be interesting is if this can be brought into other things like Office. We were just talking about at mentions in a document. Is this, could Office do this? I would think so. What kind of experience would that be? I don't know if that would work well, but it would be interesting.
You would expect it to be consistent.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. Whether it be that you're using comments to mark up a document and get some feedback, or you're actually mentioning someone within the document,
Yeah.
Either way.
But you don't have to select it. You put someone's name, you don't have to select the suggestion.
No,
so you
that's
just keep anyway. All right, another Teams update.
Yeah.
Send feedback.
Yeah, please do. Please do. That's great feedback.
Yes, that's good feedback.
Yep. Send feedback to Microsoft Teams is a new Office 365 feature. Hang on. It's a new feature to be able to send back feedback. But anyway, within the product, how does this impact you?
Well, and I would say, number one, it does impact you in that if your users are going to start communicating with Microsoft, giving feedback, I think that's good to help improve the product, but just to let them know that they're not giving the feedback to you. So, you as an organization, they're giving feedback to Microsoft. So don't complain using this send feedback and then expect help desk to call you and say, oh, we received your feedback.
I don't like the blurple color. It's messing with my head.
The last thing I'll say about this one, Darrell, is I like this, and Microsoft actually reads this feedback that you give. So, the the new Microsoft that actually listens, and that's been going on for a while now, but they actually do listen to this feedback.
Your feedback will be sent to Microsoft as support data under your organization's Office 365 agreement.
There you go.
It'd be good to get a copy of that somewhere as an admin or as someone to say, what are our people saying about stuff that they don't feel that they can tell Dad, but they can go and tell the maker of the of the software. Right. Anyway, Dad or Mum, whatever. Yep, nice to see. What else we got? Finishing off with, yes. New capacity settings allow, and this is for Power BI, more control over datasets in Power BI. Can't say that I am super expert at all in Power BI,
Right.
so y'all have to leave this one up to you. Why is this a good thing?
Well, this is helping you because with Power BI, you as an organization get a bucket, and this is talking about a bucket of space, and it's really talking really to set limits so that you can make sure that people are not encroaching on other people's usage of Power BI in the offline data set size. So it just making sure that you can size it proportionally. And I kind of liken this
Is this
to
like
think
mailboxes?
sort of, but I actually liken it to like Microsoft Flow. You know how Microsoft Flow you have if you're using Office 365 subscriptions, you you get a certain amount of Flow
Mm,
runs per month. Well, it's pooled across your whole organization. So it's not that I get 2,500. I get 2,500 times 10 because we have 10 people in my organization. So
yeah.
I actually get 250,000. No, 25,000. There we go. I actually get 25,000, but I get 25,000 and everybody else gets zero, right? That's
Mm,
how it's pooled.
yeah.
So it's kind of the same aspect here, same concept, I guess I should say, in that we're trying to make sure that put some safeguards so that people are not going crazy and using up all of our space.
Mm.
So that's what this is about. The only other thing I wanted to say else about this, Darrell, is that the I in Power BI is capitalized, supposed to be anyway. So just
And is it a compound word or is it?
no, it's two words. It's Power Space BI is the
Yeah.
way. Um,
So we have seen a pattern this week of product groups having trouble with their own product names and spellings.
Power B, Power B,
Paraboy, Parabai,
Thereby.
Parabellum. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
Enough of that. Um, that was Daniel and Darrell from the 365 Message Center celebrating episode 101. Um, 101. That's right. Hope you like the new format. We're going to keep playing a bit with this. We did talk about trying some other things with different kind of content.
mhm.
Recapping and going back over old stuff that has been released and then just reviewing it. And maybe we can get some time in to interview a few people.
Yeah,
Maybe.
and I would like to say, if you would like for us to interview people, hey, ping them and say, hey, you should be on the 365 Message Center show and see what they say.
Hey, I tell you, I had a really good chat with Ian Moran, who's
Okay.
been a long time follower of what we do and
Hmm.
active guy in the tech community.
Hmm.
So yeah, he's good chap. He's based at Belfast, Ireland.
Hmm.
Don't try any
Don't,
further with
don't
the. No, I
stop.
won't. I really won't. I've got to work on it. But yeah, no, yeah, he's got some good ideas and stuff too. So we might have a bit of a chat with him and see how things go. But
Right.
that's how we roll. Not perfect. Like to talk to people, gather like-minded friends and thinkers and thunkers.
Whoa,
Anyway,
what?
thunkers. That's what I think. That was this week. Tune in again next time. Bye. See ya.
Bye.